Hello and welcome to the 2025 JSRA season.
What a race this has been. But there is Dominic Charles now sitting in the slipstream of the Australian, maybe trying to see if he can force a mistake.
Oh, what a move by Moss on the outside of Jaden Harrison.
Olem Kimani as the fans are out and about. John just closing out the gap to the Trinidadian.
3, 2, 1, go. Fast, sharp right. Fast, sharp right. Sharp right. Sharp right. Listen. Sabine.
Hello and welcome to round 5. We're set for another high-stakes showdown in our Caribbean Touring Car 2020-25 second tour at the spectacular Sonoma Raceway in the United States using the full long circuit layout, 3.62 kilometers, 2.25 miles, 12 corners. This track was opened in 1968. Technical as it is, punishing with roller coaster elevation changes, tricky cambers and no true resting zones. Drivers will need maximum concentration over the entire sprint. It's a track that absolutely rewards precision, patience and guts. The carousel and turn 11 hairpin are prime overtaking zones, but also high risk zones. It's a sprint race, so there's no time for hesitation. We are now in, today we are actually in round 5, as said earlier, at the Sonoma Raceway. The hills of Sonoma are waiting. The grid is stacked. The tension is rising. Let us go racing. We do have some championship standing updates with, at the moment, Jaden Harrison is leading with 122 points. I'm going to go over the standings really quickly as I pull them up here. It's not popping up on the screen, but I will just read it out to you myself. As always, I am your host, Steve Stewart. Always enjoy bringing you the action here on a Friday evening as well as our Saturday start races that we started on the Man's Ultimate. With that being said, right now Jaden Harrison does lead with 122 points. Ronnie Robinson, his teammate, follows in second position with 111 points. 5.5 points behind him is Trinidadian driver Mr. Dominic Charles with 106.5 points. Daniel Velez sits in P4 with 101. Kadeem Mohammed with 91, and he sits in P5. Estefano, after missing last round after a collision there in lap 2 of race 1, ended up with a DNF, and he sits now in P6 with 69 points. Riley Curtis of AC Karting in 7th with 62.5 points. Roger Keller in 8th. The final points positions for the prize pool this season with 40.5 points. A half point behind him is Miss Raven Plummer with 40 points. Christian Gomez sits in P10 with 39. Michael Thompson in P11 with 28. Cooper Foley, after a very promising start last week, comes back with 27 7 points, only a point behind Mr. Michael Thompson. Nova Racing Javier Salazar, after making his debut the race before last, this is his 4th race of the season, sits in P13 with 24 points. Michael McNamee hasn't made a showing since last week, sits in P14 with 19 points. John Singleton in P15 with 18. Oswin Wilson in P16 with 15 points. Deville Park with 10 points, sits in P17. Kurt Moss in P18 with 9. Leroy Henry in 19th with 9 points. And Rodrigo Sanawal sits in P20 with 2.5 points. Sean Falloon rounds off the grid in P21. We have about 3 minutes until qualifying begins. Not the fullest grid this evening, but still, we have about 15 drivers making their debut here. This is one of our favorite racetracks here at the JSRA. We've had many races here, as a matter of fact. With even the Caribbean Touring cars last season, we saw cars flipping at the carousel by turn, I think it's turn 10, turn 11. So we'll definitely be looking out to see what kind of drama can come here this evening as we ride along with the Sandman himself, Mr. Rohey Robinson, who has claimed that he has no pace this evening. Says he's in the high 38s. Fastest times were in the 37, so we'll definitely look to see what he can do in the moment to come. We have qualifying coming up in a few moments as well. We have split qualifying this evening. Looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do. There's always a drama that comes behind it. And we are missing a few drivers there. We see Fernando in the chat. Should be on track, but unfortunately having some technical difficulties. Sadly, we'll be missing out on the action from him this week, but hopefully we will get him back for the next round. We will be taking a break week next week, and in that week, we'll be enjoying ourselves a little bit with a little bit of rally action, which should be pretty fun. As a matter of fact, we'll have teams of 2 coming out, one with pace notes and the second being a driver. The track will be released 10 minutes before the server opens. 1 hour practice for drivers to go out there. And each team will have multiple runs, 2 runs. And on that second run, the roles will be reversed, and the person who does the original pace notes will be the driver for the next run. As you see Rohey Robinson there, Mr. Sandman himself, putting that car in the wall, maybe to invalidate a time that was coming up. Let's ride along board with Daville Park. We are noticing a little bit of rubber banding. Found him in some collisions last week due to it, so we'll watch and ride along board with him to see what's happening there. Ladies and gentlemen, the qualifying session for this evening has now begun. The drivers are lining up. We start qualifying in 20 seconds. Bronze class is few this week, only 4 drivers. But looking forward to seeing what can come this week from these racers. Hey, yeah, I can. Ladies and gentlemen, the qualifying session has now begun. Sonoma Raceway, we are now in America. And what a time to be here as the Indy 500 is going on. We have a lovely weekend of racing. Right now we ride along board with Mr. Folly, who is the first driver to start this evening's racing. Boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to this. The bronze class drivers do play a huge role here. And the time of day is the best time of day to be had because it is sunset here in America at the Sonoma Raceway. One of Raven Plummer's home tracks. So I'm sure she's looking to do absolutely brilliant there. You can see the sun in the foreground. This week, Kadeem Mohammed has been the most dominant bronze class driver. So looking forward to seeing what he can do here this evening. Follow there, setting a purple sector 1, so he's already here to make his name known. 44.086 is sector 1, fastest sector 1 so far, which was quickly dismantled by Kadeem Mohammed. Javier Salazar is right behind Cooper Foley, but right now Kadeem is the one that we will, well, my apologies, Cooper is the one that we'll be watching, but right now Kadeem 2/10 up on the likes of Cooper Foley. 46.1 to 3 seconds almost is Mr. Elliott there. As Cooper comes around the final corner. This is going to be a high overtaking place, by the way. That penultimate corner, second to last corner of the racetrack. As Cooper comes around 38.9. Not bad for a bank lap. Javier right behind. And Kadeem Mohammed 138.436. As we said, low, or my apologies, high 37, high to mid 37s is what we're going to be looking forward to seeing. But right now, Kadeem is the fastest driver. Cooper invalidated in sector 2, so that's why you're not seeing a time for him there. Chris Elliott now sits in P2 in the bronze class. As one of the only drivers to get a good lap out so far. So Sean Falloon is coming around the final sector now. See where he can come and set his first lap. And seems as if he has invalidated his as well. So right now only one driver to have a positive lap. But right now Cooper Foley 43.444. So purple sector 1 looking very rapid there. Still leads the pack. will continue to ride along board, but 2/10 up on Kadeem Mohammed, who is improving on his own lap. 45.734 for Chris Elliott, so he's improving as well. Noble Racing driver Javier Salazar, 44.064 in Sector 1. Right now, Cooper's second sector not looking absolutely rapid, but should be improving on his last one and at least getting a valid one so far. So 3/10 up on his own personal best here as he comes around the second to last. The penultimate corner number 11, turn 11, as he is pressing, but Kadeem Mohammed not too far behind, sets a purple sector to only 3/10 up on the likes of Cooper Folly. But right there he goes, first drive on the 37s for this evening with a 37.998. Where does that put Kadeem? And Kadeem was actually slow, very slow, 2/10 off in Sector 3, and that's what did his lap wrong. So he is now sitting again in P2. Did improve a few tenths up the road. Javier Salazar as well has some work to do. He is rapid as well, so look forward to seeing what he can do. Right now, Cooper Folly Racing does lead the pack here for this evening's racing. Javier Salazar in P3. This is a bronze class qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember, it is split qualifying, so we will have the silver class drivers coming out in, well, as a matter of fact, 4 minutes exactly, as they are ready and raring to go. 43.8 in Sector 1 for Cooper, 44.1 for Javier here, and 43.9 for Kadeem Mohammed. The back to pits button has been disabled, so if you do head back to the pits, you're disqualified from the session, so they have to fuel enough for the entire qualifying session. They can't under fuel and then head back to the pits quickly to get the final run. You have to do your run. Javier Salazar 4/10 down in Sector 2, so not rapid. Maybe using this as his cool down lap to cool down those tires and then head for his final, or well, he should have one more lap after this. But right now, Cooper Folly comes around the final corner, 137.998. So actually, oh my apologies, 139.004. Javier Salazar does improve, but only on his time, not in his place. Goes up to 138.737. Kadeem Mohammed not too far behind with a 138.140. Chris Elliott, we'll take a look at him in the Alfa Romeo as he crosses the line, 141.970. So slightly off the pace, but he has his own battle there with Sashawn Falloon, between himself and Sashawn in P4 and P5 fighting it out. Sashawn comes around the final corner now and makes contact in the wall. So unfortunate for him there, but continues to ride along board now. Cooper Folly not improving in Sector 1, neither is Kadeem. So right now, wondering if they're feeling the effects on those tires, because they were complaining that those medium tires will not last. So we should see quite a few drivers there heading out. Hard tires for this race. It is 2 sprint races, and the sun is setting here in California. And Kadeem Mohammed is still trying to see if he can find some time. Javier Salazar is improving, but still not enough, as he is still hunting down. He improved in Sector 1, but still in the 44s. 43.5 for Cooper Folly in Sector 1. Did improve in Sector 2. Will Cooper be able to improve? No, he cannot. So right now, this will be the final lap for them. Pushing is the AC karting driver. Sits now in P1 with a 137.998, 138.140 for Kadeem Mohammed. He leads the bronze class. He is one of the faster drivers. He started in the midst of the silver class last week. I'm sure he cannot wait to get out of the bronze class, but right now looking very promising in this battle, as the silver class drivers should be lining up now to prepare for their runs. There you see them, Rohir Robinson right behind the likes of, who is that? Estefano Barrera, always the first to get ready as they wait for that 10-minute mark to get out. Sashawn Falloon just passing the start-finish line to begin his final lap. But that being said, Cooper Folly does lead right now, 2 seconds off of his personal best, so he might just be coming back into the pits. Kadeem Mohammed improves in Sector 1. He's with a 43.612, not looking rapid here in Sector 2 though. Will he have enough? Still not looking torrid. Looking like he's finding a little bit of pace there, and will he keep pushing until the end? Javier Salazar right in front, not improving either. As we see Cooper coming out now, does not improve. Silver Class are heading out now as the Browns wrap up their qualifying session. They will be cautious here as the drivers head out to start their warm-up laps. So right now, Cooper Folly sits in P1, Kadeem Mohammed in P2, Javier Salazar in P3, Chris Elliott in P4, so Sean Falloon in P5. Those are your bronze class drivers. Right along board now with the leader of the silver class right now, Estefano Barrera, needs a promising start here this evening. Rohir Robinson right there in the slipstream, just waiting and hoping for maybe a little bit of drafting from, well, right now in the midst of a sandwich between the two Nova Racing Team 1 teammates in Daniel Velez and Estefano Barrera. This is going to be the qualifying session to watch here this evening. So right now we have Estefano, followed by Rohir Robinson, followed by Luis Daniel Velez. John Sinclair in the background with Raven Plummer, Riley Curtis, Roger Keller, Michael Thompson. Have I seen Jaden Harrison come out yet? Yes, he has. My apologies. He's right there in the background with John Singleton right behind him. But as I said, Estefano leads the first set of qualifying here for the silver class drivers. Where will they come out? Estefano is one who has no ballast here this evening. Rohir with a little bit of spatial awareness gives him as much space to start his lap. Right now, we'll ride along. I'll update you with the sector times as we go along. Right now, Stefano not looking slow, but not setting the track ablaze. As he comes around to finish off sector 1 here. Updating now, he sets a 44.197. Rohir Robinson right behind with a 44.079, 44.98 for Mr. Jaden Daniel Velez, and Jaden Harrison with a 44.074. So right now 43.4 I believe is the fastest sector 1 set by the bronze class drivers, but that was by about lap 2 or lap 3. So you know it does take a little bit of time to get those times up to optimal temperature. Stefano leads, looking very rapid in sector 2, however, as he comes around to finish up that. The 32.090, Rohir Robinson about a 10th or 500th up, my apologies, with a 31.958. Jaden Harrison with a 31.981. Luis and Estefano are the 2 and 32s right now, as Estefano comes around the final corner. It's a sprint race now to the start finish line. Puts the first lap up, 139.002, not the fastest. Rohir Robinson right behind with a 138.726, 140.6 for Mr. Daniel Velez. Riley Curtis in P6. Jaden Harrison there in P11 right now. Driver setting their bank a lap. Not the fastest so far, but definitely continue to watch and see what can be done here. So right now, Rohit Robinson is improving with a 43.5, 454 in Sector 1. Still not the rapid purple Sector 1 that you're looking for right now, as Cooper Foley just set that time ablaze. Looking like he's trying to hold off these drivers. Riley Curtis, his teammate, was on pole last week as Rohit Robinson takes the top of the line. Timing sheet so quickly dismantled. Jaden Harrison there sits in P4 with a 138.446, 3/10 off of Kadim Mohammed. Sometimes we'll be coming in more and more and more. There we see Raven Plummer chasing down the likes of Roger Kello. These two have found themselves in too many battles. As you see Raven there using the outskirts of that track. John Singleton hasn't gone out. So right now, Rohit Robinson does lead the pack. About 700 up in overall. Still working to see where he can find that time here this evening. DeVille Park, my apologies, missed out on that. Had a purple Sector 2 and puts that car in P4 to take it from Jaden Harrison with a 4:138.134. 100th off of Kadim Mohammed. Jaden Harrison, however, is improving. Rohit Robinson did invalidate his lap. Jaden Harrison right now comes around the final or penultimate corner, my apologies. 2/10 off of Rohit in Sector 2. Looks like he invalidated his lap there as well. But DeVille Park, as I said, he is looking rapid here with a 43.498. Estefano with a purple Sector 3. His Sector 2 was slow, about 7/8 off of pole position, but there goes DeVille Park with a purple Sector 2. He himself is looking absolutely rapid here. So can he throw a little bit of drama here in the mix here as he comes around that final turn? Well, my apologies, by turn 11 into that fast left-hander to come across the line. 137 is what we want to see, and there he goes to the pole position of 137.768. The Jamaican driver, DeVille Park. That success battle is looking absolutely epic here this evening. Oh, wow, what a lap there for DeVille to take pole position from the likes of Rohit Robinson. And still, ladies and gentlemen, looking like he's trying to improve. And right now, not seeing anybody necessarily improving. Riley Curtis, who did have pole position last week, sits in P7. Right behind the likes of Mr. Jaden Harrison in P6. They cross the line. No improvements for them. Riley with a 139.090. He, however, has the most ballast for this week. 65 kilograms in that BMW. Looking like it's going to be a task for him this evening in race number 1. He did win race 2. Started on pole at Brands Hatch. Says he loves that track. Trying to get the hang of it here this evening to see where he can place in this race. See what he can do. We've seen him do it in the past, so we won't count kilograms or not. Riley has been one of those drivers to just throw a little bit of extra drama here. A lot of entertainment. Right now, DeVille Park tried to extend his lead, was a 10th slower. Still making his rounds there. But right now, the top 3, who is usually Jaden, Rohit, Daniel Velez, Estefano, Dominic Charles, all out of the mix. Only Rohit Robinson with a surprise in DeVille Park. Rohe is improving sector 2, but still his sector 1 was off with a 44.192. So with this being their last lap, Rohe Robinson finishes off. Does he improve? No, he does not. Along with Estefano, who as well comes around the final corner. Jaden Harrison does move up into P4, and that's his qualifying done. We have Michael Thompson, who as well is trying to improve, not looking rapid in sector 2, 8 tenths off. Comes around the start finish line 140.108, my apologies. And DeVille Park, who for the first time here in CTCC history comes around to take pole position, doesn't even have to do an extra lap because right now it's done and dusted. And the Jamaican driver, we're hoping and praying that he will have no issues here with his internet, looking stable so far. So we'll continue to watch and hope and look to congratulate him here. DeVille Park at the front of the line for the first time in Caribbean Touring Car history. Sits in P1 on pole position, followed by his Jamaican counterpart in Rohe Robinson, followed by the Australian AC karting driver in Cooper Folly. Jaden Harrison sits in P4, Kadeem Mohammed in P5, Estefano Barrera in P6, Riley Curtis in P7, Javier Salazar in P8, Daniel Velez in P9, and the final points position held by the Jamaican driver in Michael Thompson sits in P10. Raven Plum in P11. Roger Keller, the Swiss driver, in P12. Chris Elliott in P13. Sashawn Falloon in P14. John Singleton, did not see him qualify this evening, sits now in P15. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be fun. The battles are about to begin. We have two 20-minute sprint races to go. We have rolling starts for both. Boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to what is to come here this evening. We will have our rolling start by me, as a matter of fact. So definitely looking forward to seeing what can come here in the next few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for a minute as I rally the drivers to get them ready for what's to come in this next race one of the sprint race. And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go racing. Drivers still going through their final touches here. Hearing them adjusting their tire pressures, their fuel rate for the race. I myself am very much so looking forward to this race and what's to come. The safety car will be heading out in a moment's time. As we prepare to go racing. Again, very much so looking forward to seeing what can come from this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, and still the drivers are preparing for the qualifying session. My apologies, race 1 of this evening. And again, a huge congratulations to Mr. Park, who sits there in P1 pole position for the first time in CTCC history. It's a rolling start. The safety car will pass the leader, and the leader will follow once the safety car passes. Just giving a quick update to the drivers. As we, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to go racing. And again, for the first time ever, Mr. DeVille Park sits out in P1. Followed by Mr. Rohir Robinson Cooper Folly there in P3. Best start of his racing tenure here at the JSRA. So looking forward to seeing what he can bring in the next few moments. The safety car light on. Yes, it is. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of our favorite tracks to race at. Actually, I haven't driven it in quite some time. So looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do. We've had some very exciting racing here in the past. We've had some cars flipping, turning over. Boy, the dramatics here as we go through. We've seen some very creative moves. Drivers going on the inside, waiting on their move. And going too wide, coming around this final corner. Borderlining this yellow line right here. And coming around. Boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a race. Look at the markers on the right. 4, 3, 2, 1. See some very late braking here. In the past, we've seen drivers touch this curb right there. Right, this one right here. And on that run, they end up flipping over. So we're definitely hoping and praying that won't be the case here this evening, but as we come to the end of the formation lap, safety car will start to pull away as the drivers will prepare to go racing. Not sure why he's following me there. Had to back off a little bit just to make sure he knows. Again, first time for him here in the start of this race. In pole position. And we are about to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. DeVille Park leads from Rohir Robinson. this is a start to happen that we've been waiting for so long. And it's green light racing, ladies and gentlemen, and already an incident. 2 drivers out, and that was a leader of this evening's race in the Ville Park. But racing continues as Rohey Robinson leads from Jaden Harrison, leads from Cooper Folly. Kadeem Mohammed trying to make his move, and there you see him making contact. Safety car, safety car, safety car. And ladies and gentlemen, already a dramatic start here this evening. We had a safety car there. It was controlled there by Rohey Robinson. Now they fight for victory, and already the teammates in Jaden and Rohey are already fighting it out. Surprise already, as Jaden goes a long way around and takes pole position from his teammate. And the two are fighting and allowing the Nova Racing driver to get into the mix, as well as Kadeem Mohammed, who is right there waiting to pounce as he tries to make his move on the likes of Kadeem Mohammed right there for P2. But Rohey will have the inside line now heading into the fast left-hander. Hopefully no contact here, none at all. The likes of Daniel Velez and Estefano right there behind, waiting on anybody to make a mistake. And right there, Rohey Robinson holds off a P2. Kadeem Mohammed right now has the likes of the Nova Racing drivers right there. Looks on the outside, looks on the inside, switches around. Daniel Velez trying to make that move. And right now, Kadeem losing out now to Daniel, as well as Estefano trying to make the move on the outside, which will become the inside very quickly. No contact there, and they fight it through. And very clean, hard racing there. And the two are still going at it side by side. Estefano and Kadeem Mohammed continue this battle onwards. Jaden Harrison leads from Rohey Robinson, from Nova Racing racer Daniel Velez. Kadeem Mohammed holds off a P4 and will be hunting down the likes of his counterpart in, well, not his counterpart, his competitor in Daniel Velez in P3 right now. The final podium position, Kadeem with Balater will have to fend off the likes of that charging Colombian right there, who's already looking, pushing him through the corners as we see it. And there goes Estefano, which, ooh, and that looks like it's contact between himself and Kadeem Mohammed. Estefano is promoted into P4. I'm sure we'll hear about that later. Raven Plummer now introduced into the battle, as she's looking right there in the background of the Toyota Corolla, driven by Kadeem Mohammed, the Asian driver. Riley Curtis there right behind Lights now on for most drivers. It is now sunset, ladies and gentlemen. Or a little bit past. And Riley Curtis there looking on the outside. Turns into the inside now. Between himself and Raven Plummer. Riley Curtis there hogging the inside line. And it looks like that's a move done and well and ready and dusted. Riley Curtis promoted into P6. Kadeem Mohammed in P5. Estefana 8th off of his countryman in Daniel Velez. 2 seconds off of the likes of Rohit Robinson and Jaden Harrison. Missing Dominic Charles here this week. Huge pitted there. Oh, it's leading to some really awesome battles here. So right now, Estefano right there on the background. On the rear end of that Toyota Corolla driven by Luis Daniel Velez. And he himself, we've seen these two pull some team orders there as Estefano. Fastest sector 2 so far, so he's already on a charge. Doesn't want the Jamaicans to get away too fast. So will this be the point where they help each other, or will this be the point where a little bit of team orders comes out? But Daniel Velez now holding out the final points or podium position here this evening. And Estefano Barrera hounding the rear end of that Toyota Corolla. Will this be the battle to watch? We've seen teammates fighting it out here. And so glad to be back with our usual camera angles. So hope this will work out fast and well for you guys. Hope you're enjoying the viewing. As these battles continue on, Kadeem Mohammed though has found his way right back into the mix of this battle. 4/10 off of the likes of Estefano. Rohit Robinson just sticking in the background of Jaden Harrison. These two were complaining about the car before the race, so clearly they found themselves some pace right now. Michael Thompson chasing down the likes of Raven Plummer as well, who is chasing down the likes of the AZ karting driver Riley Curtis. First win last week and first pole position. Deville Park, who did start on pole position, sits in P9. As these two continue their battle up front. Estefano now though, looking in the background of his teammate in front of him. I'm sure at this point there should be some form of team orders, as they're very close to each other, not looking slightly like Ferrari on a typical Formula 1 weekend. But these two, we know they will find a way. It's Kadeem Mohammed now just looking for his moment to just sneak up in the middle of the two in front. And there's contact between the teammates. And Daniel Velez and Estefano Barrera make contact. And they drop down to P6 and P8. Kadeem Mohammed moved up onto the podium position. Riley Curtis moves up onto P4. Raven Plummer right there in the background. In P5, this is going to be the battle. The Jamaican drivers, I'm sure, are happy to see what is happening there, as the likes of the pole sitter now sits in the slipstream of Daniel Velez. Taking a look. This is going to be a huge overtaking position point, as well as we've seen in the past. And Sonoma Raceway gives again, ladies and gentlemen. Vamos, Daniel Velez is what we're seeing in the chat. Looking forward to seeing what these drivers can continue to do. But there's a train from P5 all the way down to P9. And Deville Park looking on the inside of Daniel Velez. Daniel shuts that door quickly. Estefano now taking a look to see if he can make that position. Wow, 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 says the drivers in the voice room. That Toyota Corolla rapid. Michael Thompson though being hounded by the likes of the Colombian driver in Daniel Velez, who's looking on the inside now. Was not close enough on that Mitsubishi Lancer, but still has the pace. Looking for his moment to strike. Deville Park as well being hounded by The likes of the Colombian behind him in Estefano Barrero. Michael Thompson looking in the background. Davil Park looking left, looking right. Still looking for his moment to shine and gain back as much. Started on pole position. Has shown he's had pace all evening. Two now head down, almost side by side, but Daniel looks like he has advantage. Estefano now just watching this battle in front of him. Ooh, and my apologies, but Javier Salazar. Looking along the outside stretch on Chris Elliott, makes that move stick, moves up into P12. They've had an incident with him earlier why he's fallen back so far. Ooh, and there Chris Herrera ends him to take him out as the two are now in each other. But as we've spoken about that, Davil Park now lost out to Estefano Barrera, who again is behind his teammate and will have some work to do. And Davil hasn't given that one up yet. Ooh, seeing a little bit of rubber banding there, so we're gonna have to continue to monitor that, because Davil, we don't want any incidents coming from that. And after such a brilliant race he's been having, looking like he's backing out to avoid any collisions there, but we'll continue to watch and see what can happen. Chris Elliott there and Javier Salazar continue their battle to fight it out. Raven Plummer though, 4/10 off of Riley Curtis, 4P4 the final, or the last place, well, the first place outside the podium. Raven has been meaning to have a spectacular race this season. We know her as one of the rapid drivers. Said she was feeling unwell this evening, so clearly, or hopefully feeling a little bit better now. She takes a look on the inside, but still not enough. That BMW just rapid on the exits. As you can see, Riley there just extend that lead as they come out. Riley Curtis there fighting for as many points as possible. Daniel Velez though as well is still chasing down a Jamaican in Michael Thompson. Woo. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the battle that we'll watch for now. It's 4/10 is the gap, but as we speak of that, Davil Park still hasn't given up. 2/10, 3/10, 4/10 off of Estefano. And right now, the teammates in P1 and P2 sitting quite comfortable. I'm guessing they'll leave their fighting as we're in the final 6 minutes. For the last maybe 2 minutes to see who can gain that advantage. Jaden with an early move on his teammate. Clearly knew he had the pace, but right now, Raven Plummer 3/10 off of Riley Curtis, hunting out the AC karting driver, and this is the battle for the not the final points position, not the final podium position either, but for P4 the best of the rest. And these two are fighting in the championship standings as well. Remember, the top 8 will be paid by or sponsored hair in ceramic hair, premium car care coating. Right behind Daniel Velez enjoying his battle, and right behind them is Davil Park enjoying his battle, as Daniel and Michael still continue their battle. See who can get the best. And there goes Riley Curtis, who was drifting slightly, and that gave Raven Plummer the opportunity to just sneak right in and take that P4 position. Hasn't put a foot wrong and just waiting on her moment. Riley not giving up on his moment to shine either. But Raven there goes offensive and holds off the likes of the Australian Carter in Riley Curtis. Raven Plummer moves up into P4, but right now Riley Curtis looking like he's going to send a dive on the inside. Riley Curtis, this is a move, the inside does turn to the outside, and they will have a drag race here. And Riley Curtis moves up back to P4. Raven giving the space and allowing that move. Clean and hard racing, but right now again the outside turns into the inside, and there Riley misses his braking position, and that gives Raven the opportunity. But guess what? Daniel Bliss saw his opportunity as well to move up, so Raven stands in her P5 position. Daniel Velez moves up to P4, Michael Thompson into P6, Estefano moves up into P7, and still that fight between himself, DeVille Park, and Estefano Barrera will continue, and Michael Thompson, who is now getting hounded by the Jamaican and the Colombian driver. Michael loses 2 positions in 2 corners as they head around turn 11, and Estefano still chasing down the likes of DeVille Park. Well, those roads were also switched, my apologies. But wow. What a complete change of events. AC karting from P10 to P12 now sitting far from the action. Unfortunate for them there. Woo! What a battle this has been, ladies and gentlemen. Raven looked like she had that P4 up for grabs. Daniel Velez just looked in his perfect opportunity for him to grab it. So said, so done. Wowzers, ladies and gentlemen, what a battle this has been this evening. We are in the final 3 minutes. We'll get the 2-minute warning at the end of this session. It's almost nighttime. And the racers still continue their train from P4 all the way down to P8. This has been the closest battle since the start of the season. John Singleton there. Riley Curtis there, heading up on the rear end of Roger Kello. Chris Elliott there disconnecting from the server after his incident. And DeVille Park and Estefano still fighting it out here, ladies and gentlemen. And DeVille Park and Estefano find himself into another little scuffle there. DeVille losing out, drops down now again to P9 after working his way up to P7. He sits now in P10, final points position. We'll be racing with Riley Curtis for the foreseeable future, but we are now under 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. DeVille there, it goes on the inside of Riley Curtis. That looks like a little bit of red mist racing. That was unfortunate for DeVille because he's had such a torrid race, but his race has been so absolutely epic this evening. His pace has been off the charts, but as it stands, if the race is to conclude as it is right now, he will be starting the second race from P2, so looking forward to seeing what he can do in the next race with that pace that he's been showing. Hopefully he started on pole position here this evening. Hopefully gets away clean now in the next race. But the race is now over, ladies and gentlemen. 38 seconds remaining here this evening. Raven Plummer still chasing and being chased by Estefano right behind him. The fight for P6 and P5 is on. Daniel Velez and P4, my apologies. Daniel Velez still not giving that one up. And you know him to be a consistent driver. We've seen it in the past. See Estefano here just holding the rear end of that Renault. Estefano Barrera makes his way around to take P5 from Raven Plummer there. Took my eyes off the screen for 1 second. The roles were just switched. Right now, P4 and P5 for the two Colombians. Kadim Mohammed in P3. He sits comfortably 9 seconds away. Estefano and Daniel, will they switch positions after that incident earlier, or will they continue their fight, or will they just hold suit? Only time will tell. Final points position still being fought out between Riley Curtis and DeVille Park. 3/10 was the gap, now up to 5/10, but still we have one more racing after this one as the leader now comes across the start-finish line. Start final lap, Jaden Harrison, who is doing absolutely epic. It is dark here at Sonoma in California. Those lights better be bright, as he is on his final lap. 1.4 seconds behind is his teammate Kadim Mohammed, almost 10 seconds behind. Daniel Velez as well, 10 seconds behind him. Right now, DeVille Park has moved up to P8, so he clearly found himself in the mix. Again, as Roger Kello, looks like he had found himself in an incident. Riley Curtis sits in P10. John Singleton a little bit too far away from the action to gain a little bit of points here from these drivers, but right now Riley sits in P10, chasing down the likes of Roger Kello and DeVille Park in front of him. Michael Thompson as well is on the US driver here in our own home ground and improving on his personal best. So is he trying for a late run to see if he can gain those extra points from the US driver? But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as we come up to the final two corners, Jaden Harrison hard on the brakes, comes around turn 11, heads on out to turn 12 after an epic start to this race. Started in P5, made his way to P2 up until DeVille Park and that incident originally. Jaden Harrison crosses the start finish line to win this race in P1 after an absolutely epic run. Took that position from his teammate in the fourth corner. Rohey Robinson sits in P2. Kadim Mohammed comes around the final corner now to finish off in P3. Daniel Velez in P4 comes around with Estefano Barrera right behind. Raven Plummer as well had the Jamaican chasing her, but still not close enough. Michael Thompson finishes off in P7. DeVille Park, after an absolute headache of a race this evening, finishes off in P8. Roger Keller in P9. And Riley Curtis finishes off in P10. John Singleton in P11 comes around the final corner right outside the points position. Cooper Foley as well in P12. Sashawn Falloon a little bit further behind, as well as Javier Salazar after that incident with Chris Elliott, who just took him out. But nonetheless, epic drive here from the drivers. Wicked victory lap here by the two Jamaicans, finishing off in first and second. What a battle this has been between these drivers. What a race this was. Missing Dominic Charles. We know he would have loved to be in here to just throw that extra drama and take those Jamaicans and the Colombians out of their rhythm. We've seen it in the past. We've seen him and Rohey Robinson with some epic battles this season. So sorry to see him missing, but looking forward to his return. But congratulations, Jaden Harrison takes the win with Rohey Robinson in P2 and Kadim Mohammed again in the podium position in P3. Yes, I like White Hawk. It is a lot harder in the dark. You can't see your braking markers as good as possible. Tires can be a little bit cooler as well, which makes it even harder to find that traction as the drivers come along the Sonoma sign. And again, unfortunately, and a little bit of drifting there by Mr. Kadim Mohammed. Epic showcase there by the Bayesian driver. Always love to see it. And ladies and gentlemen, just excuse me as I apply the ballast for the drivers for the upcoming event. The reverse grid, we have another 20-minute sprint. Looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do in that moment. But what a battle race one has been. Wowzers indeed, ladies and gentlemen. 50 kilograms for Mr. Harrison, winning this evening's race. Rohey Robinson in P2 with 45 kilograms. And Kidi Mohammed in P3 sits with 40 kilograms. Luis Daniel Velez finishes off in P4. Estefano right behind in P5. 35 and 30 respectively. Raven Plomo right behind in P6, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was, with 25 kilograms. Michael Thompson in P7. He's had a quiet season, but has made some inroads, especially his development. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. Unfortunate race for DeVille here. Had put that car on pole position. Looks very rapid. Finishes off in P8. Roger Keller in P9. He'll be getting 10 kilograms. And Riley Curtis will sit with 5. We do have a track BOP, so he will have an additional 15 to race with. John will have a reset to his ballast, as well as Mr. Cooper Folly and Javier Salazar. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, race 1. Absolutely epic race so far. Looking forward to seeing what can come the next few moments as we prepare for what is to come. Ladies and gentlemen, the safety car will be leading the pack here this evening. Definitely looking forward to seeing what can be done in this reverse grid. This is going to be quite interesting as well, because the lights have gotten even darker. It's going to lend to some very interesting racing here this evening. Hopefully nothing too dramatic. As the lights are now off and the drivers will be waiting to go racing in a moment's time, as the leader will be Riley Curtis here. And ladies and gentlemen, if I do say so myself, it is absolutely epic that these drivers can actually drive this track right now, because the tires are ice cold. I am having the luck of all-wheel drive in this Porsche Turbo S. What an epic evening of racing this has been. Javier Salazar looking like he is retiring from this race. Hopefully we will have him back again for next week. But right now it is pitch black, ladies and gentlemen. And if I do say so myself, this is going to be a very interesting evening of racing again as we head into race 2. I'm hoping that the drivers can keep it as clean as possible. But what an evening so far. Hearing some of the drivers complaining there. We are nearing to the end of this rolling start. Wanting the drivers to go in double file. Safety car will be pulling away, but right now Roger Kello is not making his way where he needs to. So we'll definitely be looking at that in the next few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go racing. As Riley Curtis gets the green light and racing is now underway. Riley leads from Roger Keller, from Michael Thompson. Jaden Harrison as well, already making his way up into P7, fights it out with Kadi Mohammed and Daniel Velez right now. And they themselves side by side between himself and an over racing driver. And the place is pitch black. This is not how you want to go racing on the first lap, but clearly these drivers have enough confidence in each other. And there goes Jaden Harrison from P7 now fighting for P4. Estefano gets a better braking, but side by side is he between himself and Estefano, and they are not giving an inch. Jaden Harrison moves up from P7 all the way to P4 on lap 1. With the most amount of balance, if I do say so myself. Looks like a little bit of contact there because you did see him going a little bit sideways, and there! What happened there? And saw a lag, if I do say so myself, and that was Estefano dropping down now to P7. Daniel Velez, unfortunate for him there, sits down now in P13. And Estefano will be chasing down Raven Plummer now. Not sure what had happened there, but right now Riley Curtis leads from Roger Keller, from Michael Thompson, from Jaden Harrison, Rohy Robinson. Alright guys, safety car, safety car. Leader, bring it to 50. And ladies, after a third start there, safety car was called. The drivers are now back in action. There is some glitching on the servo, which is what's causing a lot of these incidents, unfortunately. The servo seems a little bit unstable, but the fighting is now back on. And the fights are going to be going on from all the way from P1 all the way down. As we watch Raven Plummer now chasing down the likes of that orange Subaru. Cooper Folly there makes contact. And Raven loses out. Rohey Robinson, brown pants moment for him. He almost lost out as well. Stefano Barrera making his way downtown, walking fast as he chases down the Bayesian driver who finished in front of him in the race before. Stefano has some work to do as he chases down the likes of Kadeem Mohammed. Kadeem chasing down the likes of Jaden Harrison, who's sitting right there beside Michael Thompson. Slight contact there between himself and the Jamaican in that Mitsubishi Lancer. Moves up into P3. Jaden Harrison. The typical charging Jamaican. Fully charged here as Kadeem Mohammed now looking if he can make that move on the driver in front. Takes a look. To go through the fast sweeping corners. Estefano there looking if he can get a piece of the action. But Kadeem tries to go late on the brakes. Sends a dive move. Slight contact. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We've heard it before. Through goes Barrera as he takes that inside line as the two in front of him were fighting. Now Kadeem and Estefano now fight it out for P4. Estefano has the outside line. The outside will be the inside line as they head up the hill now. And who will be late on the brakes here without any contact? Estefano Barrera moves up into P4. Kadeem Mohammed has to concede that position. Michael Thompson now looking at his opportunity now to take back his position, but not enough. As even John Singleton has now entered into the party. And Daniel Velez right there on the inside. Contact between himself and John Singleton. And John now, again, every race find himself in a incident and it's never of his own fruition now. So he had to be very careful there as he re-entered into the track. Luckily no incident was caused. But my heart goes out to the Australian Alpha 8C karting. Right now, Kadeem Mohammed, that battle. Wow, it allowed us to miss out on the battle between himself and Jaden Harrison as Jaden has moved up now into P2. Roger Kello Sits in P3. Chases down the likes of the Jamaican driver in front of him, Estefano. Seeing where he can get a piece of the action. And Jaden there was the earliest on the brakes as Roger Keller sends a diver on the outside. And now it's Jaden versus Roger. Roger looking like he wants to take back that position in P2. So hasn't given that one up yet. The most ballast goes to Jaden Harrison in P3 right now as he chases down the likes of Mr. Roger Keller, the Swiss driver. Ooh, and that looks like contact, and Kadeem uses that as his moment to move up a position. Kadeem now into P3. Jaden into P4. Estefano loses out. Drops down now into P6 in front of his teammate again. Well, now it's in front of his teammate. Before it was behind. As he chases down the likes of Michael in front of him. Jaden dropped down to P4 and is fighting it out with Kadeem Mohammed. Michael Thompson getting the best view of them right in front of him. Switching the view in the bottom right, so you get a better action. Better view of the action as Michael Thompson sits there and is now being barraged by Mr. Barrera himself. Estefano pushes Michael wide to take P5 away from the Jamaican driver. Estefano and my apologies, Daniel Velez now tries to make his move, following his teammates side by side, go through the sweeping corners. And Michael Thompson hasn't given it up as yet, but there goes Rory Robinson, who has now entered into the chat. Daniel Velez moves up a position. Rohit Robinson trying to see if he can get a piece of the action as well. Is in B8, goes on the outside. Michael Thompson hugs the inside line contact, and there goes, who is that? Stefano Barrera, who was looking in the opposite direction. Not sure what had happened with him there. What sadness and tears for the Colombian driver fighting his way through. Daniel Velez now up into P4. Kadeem Mohammed into P5. Michael Thompson still chasing down the legs. Rohit Robinson right behind. Oh my word, oh my dolly wally. This has been an absolute spectacle of racing. Sonoma never ever fails us. Gives us another wicked evening of racing here. Sure, a lot of the drivers crying in despair at what has happened, but right in front of Rohit Robinson is Michael Thompson and Kadeem Mohammed, who are still fighting this out. Rohit Robinson gets to the best seat of the action. Luis Daniel Velez right in the front of all of them, so it's a four-way battle. All the way up to P3, right in front of them. Rohit Robinson now hogging the inside line. Little bit of contact between himself and Kadeem Mohammed. Kadeem goes off track, but rejoins safely. They will continue their battle on as they continue this fight. Long sweeping right hander. Rohit Robinson chases down the likes of Michael Thompson. Michael Thompson chasing down the likes of Daniel Velez. Roger Keller, the final driver, on the podium positions right now. 1.2 seconds away from the Colombian and the Jamaicans behind him. Roger Keller needs to put on a level of consistency here. The battle is still on for P5 as Rohit tries, but Michael going defensive. Kadeem there looking if he can put that car in where it needs to be. Kadeem now looking again, goes on the outside. Will he try to switch? Will he have the pace to do it as they go up the hill? And no, he's not close enough. But this battle is allowing Daniel to just get away as quickly as possible and hopefully hoard off the likes of drivers behind and take a battle as he cuts that 1 second gap to 7/10 between himself and Roger Keller. These are the drivers that we're going to be watching for in the next few moments. Kadeem Mohammed has come alive here this evening. Running down, pushing that Hyundai Elantra through the corners. Just begging him to move, get out of my way. As the Belgian driver hunts down the Jamaicans in front of him. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Cooper Foley has now entered the chat as he tries to send a dive down the inside. Not close enough. And he has now entered into this battle. So the battle from between P4 or P3 all the way down continues with 5.5 minutes remaining. Daniel Velez hunting down the likes of the Swiss driver. 2 tenths between the two as they head down now. Keeping this battle afloat. Daniel getting a breath of fresh air as the drivers behind him are battling. This is his moment to get away. Makes that move along the outside. Will he get a switcheroo on Roger Keller? No, Roger holds the inside line and continues on to keep away. And we have 5 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. 5-minute warning should pop up on the screen sooner or later. Daniel Velez still hunting down, goes from the outside inside onto the outside. Himself and Michael Thompson making contact into the wall. And that cuts the momentum for himself, and that puts Michael Thompson as well right back into the action with Rohey Robinson right there sitting waiting on his moment. And Kadeem Mohammed, who has come alive here, hasn't given up as this battle continues. It's a train from P3 to P9, P8, my apologies. A little bit of contact there for Cooper Folly. And Michael Thompson as well goes off the track. Kadeem Mohammed, Rohey Robinson move up a place. We'll definitely hear about that in the stewarding section, I'm sure. But Kadeem and Rohey now have open road to seek after the likes of Daniel Velez in front of them. Cooper Folly, my apologies, is now 10th off of Estefano Barrera, who did lose out there early. Heartache for the Colombian driver. This has just not been the race to remember at all. Last week as well had his mishaps, but my apologies. Daniel Velez and Roger Keller are fighting it out. Daniel has taken that position from P3 to P4. Rohey Robinson now looking on to see where he can get it. And a dive bomb by Roger Keller, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was not what we want to see, but still Daniel Velez gets a hold of that position to move up into P3. Kadeem Mohammed now in P5. Rohey Robinson lost out there, so not sure what had happened there, but we'll definitely look back at the replay to see what happened there later down in this evening's race. But wow, Rohey Robinson, who was looking promising to gain that position in P4, moves down now to P8 and will be chasing down the likes of Raven Plummer in front of him and have to defend against Colombian in Estefano Barrera right behind him. Kadeem Mohammed from right behind Roger Keller chases down the likes of the Swiss and the Colombian driver in front of him. 3 minutes remaining, and what an evening this has been, ladies and gentlemen. Riley Curtis, just like last week, is running away with the victory, almost 7 seconds in front, so he again has found pace here this evening. Jaden Harrison 7 seconds behind him, does have the fastest lap, but just hasn't put a dent in the drivers in front of him. My apologies, I need a drink of water because these drivers haven't given us a second to breathe since the beginning of this race. But right now, Kadeem Mohammed chasing down the likes of Roger Keller as this battle continues on for the next 2.5 minutes. And Kadeem Mohammed looking left, looking right, looks on the inside line. Will he be close enough? No, he will not. This is not the overtaking pace either, as he now is just waiting on his moment to shine here and take that final, or put the best of the rest points position, as he pulls up right there alongside, goes on the outside, and he will be taking a long way around. Will he have the pace to go? No, he will not. This is Toyota Corolla on Toyota Corolla crime, and this is 3 tenths between the two, and they continue this battle on. 2 minutes remaining, and wowzers, what a battle this will continue to be. And that gap dwindling, 2 tenths, 1 tenth, back to 2 tenths as I head up the hill now. Kadeem Mohammed not giving an inch, just waiting on his moment to gain that advantage on the Swiss driver. The visibility is low, the track conditions, track temperatures are low, but still the heat is on, the intensity, you can feel it through the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a minute remaining. This battle continues on for the foreseeable future. 2 tenths is the gap between the Belgian and the Swiss driver. Daniel Velez running away with the final podium position here, and has been quite confident here. Made that move stick on the Swiss driver and just hasn't looked back since. As Riley Curtis passes the start-finish line, so we'll have one more as we have 16 seconds. It's sad right now to know that there's 2 more laps, but that he'll have one extra hybrid and his battery for this lap and use it all out on the next. What will he do? This is where strategy will come into place. Does he even have any battery left? Does Rogers have any, as he's been using it in defense? That gap between Jaden and Riley finally coming down, but still took him way too long to start making that move. 5.5 seconds between himself and Australian in front of him. Unless maybe Riley made a slight mistake, but still not enough, as he's been consistent through the whole race. But right now, Kadeem Mohammed side by side with the Swiss driver as they head down now into the braking zone. Through here now, Kadeem does look like he gains a position. Roger Keller sits in P5. Kadeem Mohammed now has to look in his rear view, because we know that Rogers can be very aggressive on the offense. And what will happen here? And yes, Kadeem looks like he makes a move, but we'll have one more lap of racing after this, and we'll have quite a bit of pressure, if I do say so myself, as the Swiss driver and Roger Keller sits right there waiting and pushing. Kadeem finally making that move stick on the Swiss driver. Was in front, now behind him. Rohit Robinson as well, 3/10 off of the American on her home ground, trying to see if he can maybe get an extra point. He needs it. Sits in P2 in the championship standings. His closest competitors being Jaden Harrison, Dominic Charles. Rohit takes a look on the inside, maybe to throw a little bit of a dummy, and Raven is on the inside line now. Did not take that date and continues going. As she pushes. Leader is now, ladies and gentlemen, on the final lap. Riley Curtis doing an absolutely epic job here this evening to hold his position. Michael Thompson, though, this is his final lap to make a move and move up one more position as he sits in the slipstream of that Swiss driver. 4/10 is the gap between the two, and there was a little bit of contact there, but still not enough. But still, he gets closer and closer, as this is, ladies and gentlemen, the final lap. As we said before, heads down now into the heavy braking. Fast left hander, hold it, try to carry as much speed through, and this, the next corner is where we may see a late desperate time dive zone. If it's not here, it's going to be by turn 11, but right now not close enough. Let's see how he goes on the brakes, does it as best as he can. Raven Plummer still being hounded by the Jamaican behind him, but while we watch this battle, Riley Curtis heads down now to turn 11. We'll pick up with him in a second as he heads down now into the penultimate corner, but Michael Thompson right now holds up for the moment, but right now Riley Curtis, seeing him going left, going right, knows he has a victory on hand, comes across the start finish line to take victory here at round 5 in the Caribbean Touring Car at Sonoma. Jaden Harrison comes out in P2. Daniel Velez should be coming around sooner than later as he heads out now, but right now that battle is concluded. Daniel Velez finishes off in P3. The battle next, Kadeem Mohammed comes around next, but Raven Plummer is still chasing down Michael Thompson, not close enough, however, and Michael takes P5, Raven Plummer takes P6. Estefan and Rohe looks like something had happened there as he drops down from P7 to P8. Estefan moves up into P9, P7, my apologies. And what a battle this has been, ladies and gentlemen. Huge congratulations to these drivers. Still looking at their racing, but no, the race has concluded. Riley takes victory. Cooper Foley sits in P9, John Singleton in P10, Roger Keller in P11, Sean Falloon in P12, Chris Elliott in P13. But what an absolutely epic race from the drivers here, and we look forward to seeing what can come in the next few moments. We will start the interviews in a moment's time, but what a battle this has been.
Chris Elliott, the orange Subaru, pushed me in the wall. We were side by side, and the dude pushed me in the wall, and
That's
my car was
Sasha, I think.
What happened?
That's Sasha and Falloon, I think. Yeah,
the orange
I think.
Subaru. So he pushed me straight in the wall. I had to go to pits to fix the damage and everything.
What lap?
Luckily, I think first lap. Yeah, first lap.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
It's
yeah,
terrible.
You wanna watch some
Don't-
replays? Daniel, do you
Oh
have any
my
replays?
god. Jaden, oh my god, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, your car just keep, like, totally stop in the middle of the turn. I
Bad?
both, yeah, I went through you, and it sent me against the wall. It
Wow.
damaged as crazy the car, and I was last again.
Wow. In race
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, in race 2. And I recovered
think that
from
was the
last to
server.
third again. Yeah, very
Nice.
likely the server.
Yeah,
I mean-
like, at the start it was like spiking a bit whenever you like went close to someone.
Yeah, but on the first race, like there is one guy who is always lagging, Davil, I think, and he was lagging on first race again.
Yeah, he
it was
was.
kind of
Yeah,
it was
he was.
kinda
He
dangerous.
passed me, and then like I was following down the straight, and I was like, "Where
Yeah.
are you going?"
Yeah, it's like over and over every race. So yeah, that was scary. And then oh
Yeah.
my god, I think that Stefano hit me on the first race, and we were third and fourth. Jesus.
Yes, he did.
You see it? You see it, Kadim?
Yes, he did. That's what
Oh.
we heard.
Oh my god, like
Who won the first race?
Jaden.
Oh, okay. Good job, Dan.
It was hard to recover. At least we did a good recovery because kinda only lost one position because we finished fourth and fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, he was spiking in the first race, and I was following him. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Roger, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Oh no, to Roger.
I don't know. Series of bad luck.
Yeah.
I'll start with David.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are now at that moment of the interviews, as we'll have the drivers coming in, starting with Kadim Mohammed, who finished the first race in P3. You heard him there for a brief moment. It's in the cool down room. But driver number 246, Kadim Mohammed, had him in the cool down room last week for interviews. Have him back again this week. So looking forward to seeing and hearing from him again. Kadim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Well, firstly, bro, you came alive in the second race, but before we even get to that one, the first race was absolutely... I'd love to hear your reaction to seeing the Noble Racing drivers in front of you, giving you that gift, but just overall, just talk us through your first race, even how confident you've been with this Toyota Corolla since round one. I know you had switched your car over from the Subaru to this one. But we'd just love to hear your confidence as you've been just climbing up through the ranks now, race after race, just finding pace.
Yeah, slowly but surely getting there. The first race, the two teammates, I knew it was gonna happen. I didn't know when, but I knew it was gonna happen because Estefano was outbreaking like the whole race. So like, I knew something was gonna happen. So I just waited for it and I pick it up from there.
I was actually talking about it in the stream and hoping that it wouldn't lead to any commentary curse, but as I spoke about it is when it happened. But I'm sure you were very happy to see it, as you said you were expecting it. But race 2 though, I mean, battle after battle, you were fighting with Rohe, you were fighting with Rogers, you were fighting. I don't know which one to start with, but we'll start with one that battle for P4 and P5. Could you walk us through those battles?
Well, it was trying to pick overtakes at the right spot without hitting anybody or letting anybody hit you. So a real difficult in that aspect, but still fun. I like the weaving through cars and stuff. That's fun.
Man, it was epic to watch, if I do say so myself. And even just how you held your composure. I mean, even in the darkness, I'd love to actually hear about you. You know, how was that for you as well?
Oh yes, that's that's probably like my first or second time driving in the night on an online race. So I actually did not have my settings tuned in for that, but
Oh,
it still
no.
worked out. Do the lights, but it wasn't too dark.
Okay. Well, absolutely epic race nonetheless, bro. Congratulations, P3 in the first race. You did finish the second race. I believe it was, where was it? P5?
Fourth, yeah.
P4. Right.
Yeah.
So huge haul of points, especially for the bronze class. You are leading the bronze class at the moment. Looking forward to seeing you in the silver class, because we know you're not in bronze because of skill, but more just because of the transition system that we have here. But congratulations, bro. Epic drive, and looking forward to seeing you in the next round to come.
Thank you. I won't be here next week though, because Rally Barbados is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
You're going. Well,
Yeah.
just good time to plug it in. We are having our rally exhibition race next Friday, so you're not missing out on CTCC. But sad that we won't see you in a rally competition, because it should be pretty fun. But still, enjoy yourself, take pictures, and take some videos, bro.
will do for sure, for sure.
All right, bro. Bless you. Have a good night.
All right, thanks. Same to you.
And ladies, that was driver number 246, Mr. Kadeem Mohammed, lead up the bronze class at the moment, and has been absolutely epic here, to say the least. But we will have coming up in finishing off in P3, Mr. Daniel Velez, driver number 379. We'll get to race 2 in a second. But race 1, he and his teammate found himself in a little bit of an incident there. We were seeing that the battle was getting a little heated. We were talking about team orders, and as we speak of the devil, the biggest move happened, but still found themselves fighting back from way down the grid to find themselves back into P4 and P5. So good damage limitation for them. Driver number 379, Daniel Velez, can you hear us?
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. How are you?
Well, I'm great, especially after the battles that we saw tonight. It was absolutely fun to watch. I'm sure it was funner for us to watch than for you to drive and fight through 2 times. But we'd love to hear, you know, what were the thoughts? Was there any considerations for team orders? What had happened there between you and your teammate in Estefano in race 1?
I think that Stefano just lost his breaking point, and yeah, just went against me. I for one moment, like I was on the stream speaking to his father, like telling him, hey, I know Stefano doesn't have weight, he has more pace, and asking him to use the curse on some straight so he can pass me, but he was not doing it. And I was kind of confused, because like, okay, so I am not using the curse just to attempt to let him go, but he is not using it later. So that was a miscommunication. We were not communicating through anywhere else. So yeah, so it seems that Stefano just wanted to keep going with me to catch the guys up front, and I was intending to let him go because I knew he has more possibilities. But then yeah, I think that he lost his breaking point on that turn. Yeah, it was not fun.
I know. I don't.
But
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No, well, I was just saying I did not want to hear what your how your stream would have gone at that point.
Yeah, I
Especially,
was confused. I
especially,
was just confused.
I can imagine. And again, it was heartache for you in that moment. And then in race 2, we saw the server glitching, and we saw it live where Jaden literally just teleported back into you. I know that was tears, and that fell you all the way back into last place, if I remember correctly. But
Yes, sir.
again, for the second time this season, Mr. Daniel Velez, driver number 379, makes his way back from the back of the pack onto the podium. I know it would have been frustrating, but still, damage limitation at its best. Could you walk us through that, having to fight through the pack and get to where you were? I mean, to
It
finish
was kind of hard. No,
I can imagine.
It was kind of hard, yeah, because I knew that I was scared that the server was kind of weird, and sometimes the server was deactivating my ABS and then activating it again, and I was seeing doing it, and one time at one breaking point it deactivated while braking and then activated. So I was kind of scared on the braking on some
no.
parts. I don't know if that was the server itself, or maybe an issue on my side. I do not know, but yeah. So the fight with John, it was going okay. So there was another person inside. From my point of view, I was totally side by side with him. And when he was pushing me, he was not giving me any place. I started to kind of, like attempt to go a bit back, but not to just gave up.
Yeah.
But then on the turn, like it was the curb, it sent the car a bit to the left, and John was still going to the right. So yeah, he went, he spun. And it was weird because when I was watching him spawn, I attempted to help him, like to recover the car, like to just give him a kiss in the front, just so he can put the car. Yeah, but the server was totally weird, and I went through his car, like I totally went through his car, and then I saw in the mirror he going totally to the other side, like just jumping to the other side. So that was kind of scary. And then the fight with Roger Keller was fine. That was a good fight until one moment where he just kind of, I don't know, that's what I felt, that he was kind of waving at one point. That was a bit dangerous, but it was fine. I was just trying to press him to make the mistake. He made it, so he made the mistake. I passed him, and then he almost destroyed my race again, just doing that
dive bomb.
Yeah,
that dive bomb from
from China, bro. Like it was, yeah.
It was a little nerve-wracking. And like, well, I'm gonna ask Rohei about it, because after that, Rohei dropped back to P8 or P9, if I remember correctly. But not sure if you saw anything that happened there between them.
No, so I was watching Roger, because from one moment to another, he was totally disappeared, and then he came back, and then I did not see him again. So I do not know what happened there. I was just trying. I was so focused watching on the turns if the ABS was turned off, so I can back up on the braking. So, yeah, but it was fun. It was fun, bro.
Well, final question now is the nighttime racing. How was it for you? What was the experience like, especially on a track that was almost pitch black, if I do say so myself?
Yeah, well, when the server on the week, it was on daytime, so I experienced only daytime, and I was actually going to run for hard. So my setup was already done for hard tires. I had to work these past 2 days, so I could not train at all because I did not have the simulator at home.
You had your
and
event.
Then
right.
Yeah, so when I just came here and I saw the practice is kind of known, I was, oh no, are we going to be racing in the night? So I was totally lost, but yeah, I was able to came back. Quali was not good for me at all. I was very, very lost, but yeah, it's always amazing to race here. For me, it doesn't matter if I am sent to the last, due to a hit or anything. I'm not just going to give up, and I will try to my best to be back at top.
Well, bro, congratulations. It was as always, epic to watch you fight through the pack. Absolutely epic to see you back on the podium. As always, looking forward to seeing you up there, man. You're just such a rapid driver. Any final comments to your fans? We've seen them cheering for you all evening. It's been absolutely epic to watch. Vamos, Daniel. Any final thoughts to them?
No, well, just thank him for supporting me always, for always being here for me. You know, it's amazing to know that I have them. They're supporting me on the race, and you know, whenever I feel that I am going to give up, I just think like, yeah, it's not fair. These guys are putting the time just to watch the race, so I'm trying to do my best.
Absolutely, and just a huge shout out. You were driver of the day from last week. Because of them, you won by 2 votes full. Congratulations to you. Now you lead the driver of the day voting. Congratulations to you, brother, and looking forward to seeing you in the next few rounds. We do have a rally exhibition next week. Not sure if you're gonna have the time to come, but if you do, looking forward to just having a little break and enjoying ourselves, have some fun, and as we just take a little bit of a break week here at the JSRA.
Awesome. I will try. If I do not have to a lot of work, I will definitely come here.
All right, Dan, have a great evening, brother, and we'll speak soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Good night. Take care.
Take care. And ladies and gentlemen, that was driver number 379. He did as best as he could, found himself into a few incidents there, but still made it out on top and finishing off in the podium. But right now, AC karting driver Mr. Riley Curtis won race 2 last week, started on pole last week, and finishes off this evening by a dominant 5.5 second victory over the likes of Mr. Jaden Harrison. Mr. Riley Curtis, well, can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Huge congratulations, brother. Race 1, would love to hear how it went for you, because we do remember a little bit of dramatics, if I remember correctly, there in race 1 before we get to race 2.
I've never really had that much ballast before. Like, I've never really.
That was rough for you.
And I just like I tried as hard as I could. It's just ballast kind of got me, but I still worked pretty well, and I'm happy with P10. I kind of tried to stay in 10th because I wanted the P1 in the next race. Yeah.
Okay, well, in race 2 now, there was a kind of an eventful start, but luckily you kept your nose clean. There was a safety car. I'd love to hear your thoughts during that safety car. And then after that safety car, it was just, you just picked the right time to step on the gas, and you just never looked back since. Yeah. And any thoughts?
Got a good exit.
Yep, absolutely. Would love to hear your thoughts on, you know, the whole sequence of that safety car restart.
Yeah, so as soon as I got going, I just kept my head down and just kept looking at that number every lap, saying like, how much can he catch me, or like how fast do I have to be to get him over the line. But I was just fast in general, and just kept my head down and made sure that gap stayed where I want it to, and then just crossed the line. Well,
congratulations, bro. It was so epic to say your name again at the end of the race, and I'm actually looking forward to doing it again for the next race after next week, because you know we're having a break week next week for the rally exhibition. But definitely looking forward to seeing. I'm loving your progress, brother, and huge congratulations again, Riley Curtis of AC Karting, winning race 2, P10 in race 1. So good haul of points here this evening for him, well, this afternoon for him. But congratulations, brother, and see you again soon.
Yep, see you next race, and thanks John and Cooper for having a good race.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to AC Karting, which we will be having our own karting championship in collaboration with them over there, and looking forward to have a time attack server up right now for the Patreon members. So please, if you guys have the chance, reach out to us to get more information on the Patreon. We have the most epic karts mods, and we just released the Jamaican Palisades track, which we'll be using in the coming Global Karting Championship. So more information on that will be posted. Huge shout out again to Riley, John, Rodrigo, and Cooper of Team AC Karting, and we'll see you guys again sooner than later.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Riley, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You have a good night, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, bro. Bless you. And ladies and gentlemen, we will now have Mr. Rohey Robinson, who finished the first race off in P2. The second race, we're gonna hear him. Well, it was I want to say a rough race for him. You are muted. Not sure if you're hearing us as well. Rohey Robinson.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, huge congratulations there to you, bro. Finishing off race 1 in P2, and then race 2. I know you had a little bit of a dramatic incident there, which we are going to be discussing in a moment in time, but you did end up finishing out in P8. Well, let's start with race 1 and your qualifying. How did it feel, one, to see Deville Park there on pole position in front of you, and then lining up behind him to start the race?
The pole got away from me, I would say. I had like maybe 3 tenths in the bag, but couldn't put a solid lap together. With that said, I knew that first was definitely possible. I just couldn't let Davil get away and settle. But he had connection issues and he had a rough start. So once I came through to first and the restart, I made one mistake on the restart up the hill, and that cost me P1, I think.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, I could have fought more with Jaden, but that turn cost me the race, I would say. I was just playing catch up after that.
We remember we saw it live. We were actually wondering if there's going to be some team orders being called, but Jaden just kind of saw the opening and took it and ran with it. But you two were fighting. What was it on the exit? You ended up on the grass, wasn't it?
Yes. Wait, not the T1 after the restart? Oh, after the pass, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up on the grass, and that invited Kadim.
Right.
But I knew once I took the downhill turn on the inside, then I could be able to get away. So that worked out for me. So I'll settle for P2.
Well,
qualified P2, and I came P2.
Huge and again, you are sitting in P2 in the championship standings behind your teammate. I'm sure after this evening you will be extending that lead a little bit more, as Dominic Charles didn't come in, but we'll talk. And I'm not sure how much you want to talk about it, but that second race was absolutely diabolical. Could you walk us through? Because I know at the start of the race, we look back and we saw you in P11. So we'd love to hear what had happened at the start of the race for you. Then we saw you fight your way through up until I think you came up to the fight for P4, P5. Saw a dive bomb by Roger Kello, and we just saw you disappear back to P8. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on race 2 and just give a little bit of insight to what really happened there.
I mean, race 2 started with the Davil situation. He teleported, I guess, and it affected the start of the race for me because I ended up being affected by his car, and that took me out of my position. I didn't want to get a drive-through penalty, so I tried to catch up or get back my place, but if I did, then I would have gotten a drive-through, so I just started from the back. And on lap 1, I don't know who is driving that orange Subaru, but I was alongside him, and he basically turned. He actually blocked, or he pushed me in the wall. Ouch. My axle broke, actually. My car axle broke. So I had to go to the pits to fix it.
That's why you were so behind on the safety car.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes. Luckily, I was hoping that a safety car would be called because of the chaos, and it did. So I was happy to start back. But fighting with the guys, it was just one incident after another. It was crazy. Yeah.
Well, I know there's a battle between, and this was for the final podium position. I think you're in P6 at the time. Daniel was in P5 and Roger Keller was in P4. And we saw Roger send a dive bomb and Daniel got away clear. we saw you drop back to P8. What do you remember that incident and what had happened there?
Yeah, I saw the incident with Rogers, so I actually got a run on Rogers and Daniel, and I tried to go on the outside, but I was blocked from going on the outside by Daniel. Good move, I would say. Not dirty or anything.
Right.
But after that, I think Kadim got the run and
Raven.
he actually hit the back of my car, so I
Ouch.
spun into the last turn.
Ouch.
I fell back.
Right.
So I want to see what happened there.
Absolutely, we'll definitely check it out to see what had happened, because that was we just saw your place drop from P4 all the way down, and that was just unfortunate for you.
Yeah, I mean, even Jaden was in my view, like 2 seconds away, so
yeah,
I think I got away cleanly. I could have caught up to Jaden, but again, incidents being in the mid pack.
yeah,
I guess.
it is heartbreaking, especially from last week, which was supposed to be your special event, but still, looking forward to seeing you back in the next few rounds. It was a unfortunate race too, but a huge haul of points in race 1 at least, and we're looking forward to seeing what can be done in the next few races as we take a break week next week for the rally event. Not sure if we'll see it for that one, as a matter of fact. But
Next week, Friday, this time?
Right.
Oh, I should be there, yeah.
Yeah, should be fun and just an evening of relaxation. We have some big names coming in. So look out on our social medias for that. Some real rally drivers testing their skills here, and see if we can extend and really open up the eyes for sim racing here in Jamaica. But nonetheless, Rohey Robinson, congratulations, brother. Huge race for you, and we will talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Any final words?
Not at this moment, just for the drivers to take more precaution with overtaking and be more respectful, I would say, including myself, because I was driving angry race too.
Well, we do have a development race, and that goes out to any other fans who want to enter into our races. We will be starting development races to raise the talent here, especially on a Friday and a Saturday evening, to see if we can bring everybody up to a status quo and continue to build the sim racing environment. That is what the JSRA is here for, and we're looking forward to seeing the growth in these drivers, as we've seen with drivers like Riley Curtis and so many different drivers in the series. So I do concur in that statement, and again, cries and tears out to you, brother. But nonetheless, it was an epic showcase, and looking forward to seeing what you can do to close out the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to hang on to second.
Well, after this week, you should extend your lead slightly. Dominic Charles, I'm sure, will be coming back to fight for glory in the next few rounds. But who knows? You're still not too far from Jaden Harrison, so the battle is still on, Mr. Robinson. So congratulations, good luck, and looking forward to seeing what can be done in the next few weeks.
All right, thank you.
All right, Rohey. Bless you. Have a good night.
You too.
Or good afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, that was driver number 10, Rohey Robinson. All right, now the man who wins. And he does have his own intro song, so please excuse it. As you hear driver number 604, Mr. Jaden Harrison, who won the race by a dominant victory, and finishing off race 2 in P2. 5.5 seconds. Looked like he was making a run on Riley there in the last few moments, but still not enough time. But Jaden Harrison making that move stick, jumping up from I think it was P4 on the grid, or P5 to P2 in the first few moments of race 1. Would love to hear from him as he moved from P4 to P2, then battle it out with his teammate for P1. And wowzers, what a move that was. Jaden, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Well, Jaden, again, congratulations on this evening's race. You haven't put a foot wrong. There was a slight moment of the servo looking like it was glitching out between you and a few of the other drivers. But we'll start with race 1. That lap 1 that lap 1 move on your teammate. How did it feel? Can you walk us through what was going through your mind? Were you thinking to make the move on the first lap, or were you thinking maybe team orders and you guys work it out and you fight it down later down? We'd just love to hear your thoughts on that first lap.
The first lap wasn't bad. It was, I guess I got lucky because the two at the front got into an incident and I just kind of got up to P2 just like that. Yeah, well, I almost got collected because Devil spun on the start, but yeah, they just made a mistake and I was right behind my teammate. And the safety car restart, I think my teammate made a mistake and Kadim was right there, so I just went for the pass. We went too wide, jumping over the curb, and then we just made it and kind of pulled a hand-eye domination 1-2 by 8 seconds.
Absolutely.
Which was good.
It was epic to watch. I saw you guys on a victory lap. But we'll talk about the second race now. In the pitch black, you and Estefano fighting it out side by side on the first lap, if I do well. Yeah, the first lap. And you jump from P10 to P7 to P4 in a matter of corners. Can you walk us through the first moments of that race and how, I mean, I want to say diabolical it was for you to just pick and choose, and you were just not giving an inch. You're side by side with some of the drivers, and you just made the moves one by one to find yourself up to P4 by the end of lap 1.
Yeah, I guess I just got a good start. Like, a lot of people were checking up. I saw the inside line, and I went for the inside line past like a bunch of people, and then I guess everybody started to make a mistake. I think the server lagged, and the two drivers behind me lagged through me, and then we got a safety car because of that, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I guess just got lucky. I think I made a lunge on Roger, but I don't know. I have to watch the replay. But yeah, I gave it back and almost lost. I think we went 3 wide into the hairpin, giving it back, and yeah, just got back past and was pulled away. I don't know what happened behind, but I mean, there was no point in catching Riley.
That was the next question after this one, because we didn't see the move on Rogers on the stream. We wanted to hear it from you, so thank you for that. The safety car actually wasn't called from your incident with you and Daniel and Estefan. It was from, I think it was Sashan, if I remember correctly, and Michael. But we'll go back and look, and we'll definitely look back at that. But still, that battle between you and Estefano, it just keeps ringing in my head. That move with you and Roger, though, we're gonna have to look through and see if we can get that as a highlight of the week, just to give the audience an idea of how that happened. But then you held off for P2, right? You held off for P2. You were closing the gap in the last few stages. Was it that case where you just couldn't bother and you just held your pace to keep P2, or was it a case where you just couldn't catch him up and you just after a while said you'd suffice with P2?
Well, because I had to I didn't really have to, but I don't want to play it safe and let back through Roger. Although, like, you know, when you go up the inside, the driver, like when you're alongside, you know, the driver on the outside has to like maintain their wheel and not just turn in when you're there. But I just make it safe, and then when I did that, I lost like 3 seconds. So I think that is what ruined it. But good win to Riley. He had good pace.
Absolutely, and it was an epic run from all of you. I am personally tired. I can't imagine you guys. Final 2 questions now. One is the time of day. How did that contribute to your race? Even with your side-by-side action, how did it play out? How was the experience entirely in the nighttime racing?
Well, I was watching the stream. It looked like pitch black, but for me, I had track lighting. The headlights were working good. I don't know, maybe the video settings. But
okay.
I had full track light. It was day to me. I didn't even need headlights. So
oh wow!
It was like nothing.
Okay, so it looks like it's an issue on our side, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry for over dramatizing that one, but still, nonetheless, congratulations, sir. And final question: we have rally. Yes, we have rally, Mr. Alec in the chat. We have rally next week, and Jaden Harrison will be one of them. I believe that will be enjoying himself here. And any thoughts on that, Jaden?
It's going to be fun.
And I love that. Just short and straight to the point, because I do agree myself. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a break week next week. Congratulations, Jaden Harrison. P1 in race 1, P2 in race 2, extends his lead from his closest competitor, his teammate in Rohey Robinson, and will be moving on to extend that lead of 122 to 111, and will be enjoying this week off as we head into the rally stage for next week. So ladies and gentlemen, this does bring the stream to a conclusion, and what an evening of racing this has been. My apologies there, folks. This does bring this evening of racing to an end. I've been your host, Mr. Stephen Stewart, and we will have a week of stewarding ahead of us, if I do say so myself. But huge congratulations to the drivers, especially Jaden Harrison, getting the best haul of points this evening. Jaden, any final thoughts to your fans, because you lost driver of the day by 2 votes last week, which is a huge improvement in the past few weeks. Any final thoughts to your fans who've been voting for you?
Well, you were cutting out, but I heard voting for you, and I guess it's good, but I don't really know. It's just up to whoever is voting, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, I was saying, any final thoughts for the fans who've been voting for you?
Oh, I guess it's good. Yeah, I think somebody else should get the votes, because it's like domination will bore fans.
Well, brother, congratulations to you, and I'm looking forward to next week and the rally race, and even the conclusion of the CTCC. We have 3 rounds remaining. Next round is at Road America, and that is going to be a race to be had. We've had a race there over the preseason, and what a battle that was. So looking forward to seeing what can come there. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Mr. Stephen Stewart. Looking forward to seeing what can come in the next few weeks. And stay tuned to our social medias at JSRA Official on Instagram for all news related. If you want to join in the racing, please send us a direct message. We'd love to have you on board. Leave your name in the chat, and we look forward to seeing what can come in the next few weeks. It's been a pleasure. Good night. God bless you, and have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I've been your host. Good night.